the Pope and his visit to Britain, which looks to have been a great success as far as the Vatican is concerned. Did you have a look at it, Andrea? You did look at the.
A lot of the papers are quoting the Pontiff's expression of deep sorrow for these unspeakable crimes. He's tagged as having apologised, but when you read what he actually said, he is speaking of his sorrow. He is acknowledging the shame and humiliation which all of us have suffered because of these sins, but he has not apologised on behalf of the institution of the Catholic Church for the systematic cover-up and moving on of priests. And I heard an interviewee in the UK yesterday who was representing victims of clerical abuse taking issue with this, and I believe Colin O'Gorman has done the same here. And it comes singing through these reports that he still has not grappled with the issue, and personally I think that's very disappointing.
My shame and humiliation.
His shame and the shame and humiliation which all of us have suffered because of these sins.
Not that we inflicted.
Not that we inflicted, and not that we condone. And interestingly, actually, Sinead O'Connor has written an open letter to the newspaper now. Time was, you'd say, Sinead O'Connor open letter to the newspaper and go, oh. This time, fair play to Sinead. I think she says it very concisely. She comes at the church. You've said the church authorities didn't act quickly or decisively in dealing with complaints. In fact, authorities acted extremely quickly and decisively, but in protection of priests and the church, not of children. I think she summed it up there.
And it's interesting what you just said, Marion, even though in a number of the papers the heading says my shame and humiliation. Yes. But as Andrea has pointed out, when you look at the quote, he's talking about the shame. I mean, it's like he's like an onlooker in part, looking in at this terrible, terrible problem. And, I saw Colin O'Gorman last night on the news, and I would agree 100% with him. I mean, given the Pope's critical role, particularly before he became the Pope, in terms of, dealing with the complaints, which were obviously not just coming from Ireland, we know they were coming from the United States, from the Australian Church, from the Church in Britain, and so forth. It defies, belief that he yesterday would not have taken, the opportunity to say, I am so sorry for the sins of omission or contrition that I am guilty of when I was, cardinal and so forth. And there is that huge gap there. I mean, people are acknowledging, I think he's come some way along the road on this particular issue, but he hasn't gone nearly far enough. And it's a matter of great disappointment that he didn't.
It is extraordinary how some people don't get the point. Sorry, Sean Kelly, you wanted to come in?
Yes, firstly, I'm pleasantly surprised that the visit has gone so well. I thought when I heard he was going to Britain first that it would be a disaster, that nobody would turn up to meet him, and that he would be treated very poorly.
Yeah.
So from that point of view, it has been a success. I agree with my colleagues here. It is a pity he doesn't go the next step, and particularly apologise for the cover-ups. I mean, nobody could absolutely justify, first of all, what happened, but worse still, moving a priest on from parish to parish to parish, knowing that was going to happen. And in some cases, after the second parish, move to the third parish.
To protect the institution.
At this stage, they should come clean, apologise for it, say it was unbelievably unfair, totally immoral what happened, and try and bring some closure to it, because those who suffered, they're making that point constantly, and they're absolutely correct.
Sorry, you were going to come in
just
Minister.
To make two comments on it, Marion. One is that he met victims himself, and from what I can gather, there was an apology to them for what happened. And, it's this thing of quibbling about words at the end of the day. And I thought there were two very significant things in the articles I've read, because some of them said that he apologised. I think 2 or 3 of them said he actually apologised when the word apology didn't appear. But he did say, he said, we failed to deal decisively or quickly enough.
But isn't Sinead O'Connor dead right? They did move very quickly and very decisively.
Well, absolutely on the other side, but he's talking about the authority of Rome and the authority of the Church. But then he made a very poignant statement, which I said, and maybe that, we should all from time to time look at. And he said, look into your own heart. look at the amount of love that has been given to you. Look about the amount of love that you receive. And he also said, look at the amount of love that you should give. And great wrongs have been done out there to people. I was dealing with it and the victims when I was in education and science. And great damage has been done to those people. And it's very, very difficult and very sorrowful scene to behold what exactly has happened. But there is a time when we hope that these people can in fact move on, can get the expressions of sorrow that should be part and parcel, and regret and apology that should be part and parcel of the church.
See, the thing about it is that meeting those victims yesterday was done, you could say, in privacy, you could say in secrecy. You could say you cannot turn this into a circus, with television cameras. Not fair to anybody involved. On the other hand, you kind of don't know what went on, or how these people were invited, or who invited them, or how they were selected, or all of those things. I just felt that it didn't go far enough again. But in the